Welcome back to DIGI-AU, and I am Ben, and I'm here to take you through my Shine Greymon list. I guess it's my Rise and Shine set 1.5 yellow list. Overall, I really enjoyed the deck. This is kind of what I chose to play before kind of everything came out. So I picked up yellow like the moment set 1 dropped, and then when set 2 dropped, it was time to pick up the Rise and Shine, and we went full commit into playing this. But I will take you through my deck. So, of course, starting us off, we have the extra deck. So it is just 3 Cupimon and 3 Uppermon. So your 3 Cupimon are here just in your early game. So you want this to be the first card you flip, so you can progress it out, get an early attack in, get that free draw. Hopefully you don't lose the card that you've attacked with, but it doesn't matter that much if it does happen because you do get the free plus off that. The Uppermon's here at 2 copies because it is the better card in the mid game. But now getting us into the main deck, we have, of course, starting us off, our 6s. I guess I've kind of done this a little backwards. So probably the 3 should go first, but it doesn't matter too much. We are, of course, playing 4 copies of Shine Greymon. This is Rise and Shine, so Rise and Shine needs to shine. So you have, of course, the 1 copy of Shine Greymon. 1 copy. 4 copies of Shine Greymon. Outs a lot of problem cards. This is like what pushes you for game when you've got it on top of a Rize. So this card is very good. It is kind of key to yellow at the moment. After this, we only play 5 6s, so it is 1 copy of Slash Angemon coming in after that. Slash Angemon's a good card. It will probably be better later, but at the moment, I just kind of have it in here as like an extra 6 that we can slap down and get that bit of a pop going. After that, for our 5s, we've got 4 copies of Rise Greymon, of course, Rise and Shine. This can get you those tamers out of your hands, so you do want to kind of have them in hand to plus as much as possible, because if you're not, it kind of feels really bad when you drop a Rize on board and you don't have a tamer in hand. I do play a pretty heavy tamer count. And then, of course, it has that inherited effect that if you have the 3 or more yellow tamers, the card on top of it gets security attack +1. You have that with the Shine Greymon. The Shine Greymon's going through for hopefully like 15 plus on a +2 security. I don't think it's getting added at that point. Then, of course, after this, we are playing 2 copies of this Angelwoman. It does just have a very good inherited effect, which is the reason why we're playing it at 2. Its Digivolving effect is kind of decent. You can stall your opponent out with the -2 security attack. But overall, we are just playing it just so when we slap down the Shine Greymon on top, we declare the attack, get that 3, and hopefully that can roll us into like that mid to late game and really start to put the pressure on. Then we do have like a target later that this is ideal for. After this, though, we do play 1 copy of the other Angelwoman. When you're in a bit of trouble, you can just slap this down at the end of the game. Gets you that recovery 1. Hopefully it gets you out of a sticky situation. And then we do have another card for that. This is the last 5 we play. It's 1 copy of the Magna Angemon, sorry. Not Angelwoman. You just play this hard from hand for the 7 cost. Get that recovery 1. Gives you that little bit of a buff, but that's never really going to come up. You're playing this either early game because you've kind of bricked and you want to get some early big pressure on board. Or you're playing it in the late game when you just want to get that easy recovery 1. Kind of take that bit of pressure off you. Then we get into our 4s. We are playing 4 copies of the big blocker in Unimon. It's just here as your blocker. This is your bog standard blocker. Lose 2 memory if it attacks. I believe later on we'll get a blocker that doesn't lose 2 memory, hopefully. I think so. That'll come into the deck then. After that, we've got 3 copies of Terurimon. Just your 1 cost evolution for your 4 going over a 3. Cheapens your line a little bit and can put some pressure on when it swings. After that, though, we do have our Jammer. So we got 3 copies of Sisomon. I can never remember how to say him. He's just your jammer. Hopefully your opponent doesn't have any blockers on board. He can just put a lot of pressure on, which is the reason why we're playing it here at 3 copies. And then the last card is 1 copy of Repamon for our level 4s. This is here because it's just a low cost 4 you can play from hand. After that we get into our 3s. It is probably 4 copies of what I consider is probably the best 3 you can play in yellow at the moment. And that is just your Agumon. When you get into the late game, if you have like this, Rise and Shine all in the same line, you go very plus when you attack, especially if you can get it mixed in with the Uppermon over here. So like when you're very late game, you swing with that, you draw 2, a checking 2 security, and you have massive attack. It's just kind of the best line that you want to be sitting on at the end. Then we have the one you want to hard play from hand. It is the 3 copies of Patamon. Gets you to reveal the top of your deck, adds all of those tamers. Early on, when I didn't have all of my shines into the deck, this hurt really bad because I would always reveal shines and they'd go to the bottom of the deck and you'd kind of be stuffed. When this card game gets ways to like search I think this will become a lot better because then it can like shuffle whatever you've put to the bottom of the deck if it's not a card that you want at the bottom of the deck. Then we get into the last of our threes. It's 2 copies of this Patamon. Just gains the memory when you drop an opponent's Digimon to 0. I don't really even play Pokemon. Don't know why I went with that. But yeah, when you drop your opponent's Digimon to 0, it gains the 1 memory. You do want to like have this on board in some aspect when you drop your Shine. I'll typically put my blockers over this Patamon just because you want to have them just sitting there. Then we've got the card that you want to be dropping off that Angel Woman. It's the Salamon that on deletion you recovery 1 when it's like low cost. When you're low on security. This is just your like late game. You want to summon that off that. You can attack with it and put pressure on because you don't care if it dies because you're just going to recovery 1. That finishes off our Digimon lineup. So now we'll go into our Tamers. So we've got 4 copies of the buff TK. When you can stack multiple of these on board, it gets really scary for your opponents. They get kind of scared to attack. Can be sometimes to your own detriment where they're just going to kind of sit back and wait until they can just fully attack you and kill you. That's when your Shine comes in and can hopefully clean up their board. Then we are playing 3 copies of the Kairi. Sorry, 4 copies of the Kairi. That's just gets you that buff for the memory in the late game. This can kind of, with the thing I talked about earlier, where your opponent's too scared to attack with the TK, can come back to bite you with the Kairis because they could just be dead for most of the game. That feels really bad. 2 copies of TK, though, finish up our Tamer lineup. This gets you to the 3 memory, which is very, very good. Originally, I was playing 4 of this in my old build. This definitely just got cut to 2 because it felt really bad to have to slap this down and use the 4 cost in the late game just to look at your security. So we cut it down to 2 cards. I believe earlier it was 3-3-4, but now we've trimmed it so it was 4-4-2. We just want to still have the 10 though. Then we get into our extras after that, or our option cards. We are playing 3 copies of Eden's Javelin. Nets you the draw when it's flipped off security and it can hopefully kill something when you do that. And then we are playing 1 copy of Glorious Blast because it pretty much outs everything in the game. But that wraps up here for the deck profile for my yellow deck for this format. I'll probably be definitely sticking with yellow going forward. I don't have any intentions to like switch to anything, so you'll probably see some deck profiles coming in the future for that. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we're always happy to have new people here on how many ever Digis is in the title AU. But I've been Ben, and have a good afternoon, everybody.